We're doing it.
Okay, we're on.
And
Okay.
just to clarify for everyone, we are literally in the next room to each other. We just couldn't fit. Look, it would look weird if you were here. I've got my desk treadmill. I don't want to move it.
Yeah,
My
it's not
pride.
enough space.
Yeah.
We'll do this remotely.
We should have zoomed Norman as well.
Yeah, he's
Put the
tired.
camera up.
He doesn't have to be involved in everything.
He's the star of my social media page. People just come
Yeah.
for Norman, and I'm the side benefit.
Yeah, he needs a rest though.
He does. We've had a
Fame
nice walk.
can do
We did
bad things
his
to people.
wings. I've got a slight headache today, so I'm not feeling on form. How are you feeling?
I'm fine. I'm good.
You've got your little man cave set up in the background. Your
Yeah,
guitar,
yeah, this is it.
all the shit in the room has just been pushed to the side. We don't want to see what's behind
You
the
swore.
curtains.
Can you
Yeah,
swear on this?
yeah. This is my show, Lukey.
Okay.
Yeah, the set of curtains that's been there for 6 months.
I'll make the choice not to swear though because I want to be polite.
I'm professional.
Hmm.
Health coach Luke.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
me.
you'll be officially a health coach when this goes out.
Mm, yeah, I've literally just finished my last module, my last lecture yesterday.
And then they get back to you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I should get the stamp of approval.
Ooh.
I
But
should be
you've passed
passed.
your main exam. So that's like,
Yeah, passed my main exam and just done my last lecture and assignment, and that's it.
and I did have questions. I did like a little Q&A box on Instagram and people were asking about you doing the health coaching. Shall we just get into the questions now?
Yeah, we can do if you want. That's no problem.
Okay. Um, well, I've kind of put them in an order, so I think it might be good to start with how we met and like how long we've been together and stuff.
Oh.
Because people have seen on the Instagram stories,
Yeah, I've
but
been in the
yeah, you've
background.
been to the event as well, so anyone who came to the event in Manchester would have met you. Did you like that
Yeah.
day?
Oh, I loved it. It was mint. So good.
We were just so excited for it for ages.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was so good. I loved
And then
it.
at the end of the day, I was just dead.
Mm.
And you somehow had excessive amounts of energy still and went
Yeah, I was just
afterwards.
yeah, well, I think it was like the Pilates and the breath work just energized me
Yeah.
and I just loved the whole day. The
Yeah.
food as well.
Especially.
Yeah, breath work was mint. So good.
So yeah, we've been together two and
And a
a half
half years.
years, and
Yeah,
then we've lived together. It'll be like 2 years this
two
like this
years.
week, won't it?
Oh yeah, because I moved in like just near Halloween.
Yeah.
I remember.
And we moved in together after 6 months.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cray cray. But we
Yeah.
there was a health situation involved on my part.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because my place had like mold and
Yeah. And I
had
was
a
fine for
landlord that
ages.
yeah, I had mold and a bit of a slow leak coming through the wall, and then the landlord was just like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll just give you a couple of those like cat
Yeah.
litter bags that absorb moisture." He just gave me a few of them to hang on my wardrobe thing, and he was like, "Oh, it'll be fine."
So
So
bad.
yeah, I had to get out of there.
Yeah. And I was fine at first and I tried to power through and not mention it. And then I
Yeah.
was actually getting ill from it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a Victorian terraced house
Mm.
that probably needed a lot of work doing to it anyway. And it
Same
was
as my
like
mum's
built in
house, and it's just old
1920 or whatever.
and yours definitely hadn't been like looked after well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you moved in October 2022. And how did we meet?
On Hinge. And
Unhinged.
we were unhinged. Yeah.
And we were both pretty sick of the dating apps. I feel like that's what helped us
Yeah.
actually connect, is we're both like, right, we're sick of going on dates and just doing
Oh
this
God, yeah.
over and over. And you suggested that we went swimming. And it's like,
Yeah.
that kind of seems fun. But then I didn't realize how cold it was. And we went to Sale Water Park just outside of Manchester. And you were proper taking it serious, like
Was
doing your
it?
actual workout. Yeah.
No, I wasn't
Yeah,
doing a workout.
you were. You,
No, I wanted to actually swim though. I didn't
yeah,
want to
you
just
just wanted to swim while you were
swim
there.
next to you
You
the whole
loved it. And
time.
I was just like, I just want to splash about in the water.
Oh, I don't think we, I feel like we didn't swim that far though. We
Yeah,
just did a little
it was
bit
far for me.
and
I was actually struggling to do that.
it was April, I remember. Was it April
Yeah.
or March?
But they made
Yeah, it
us
was
swim
April.
to that buoy and round,
Yeah, and then
and the
back.
water
That
was
was it.
really cold because I'd never actually done any wild swimming before,
Mm,
other than swimming in the sea at summer.
yeah.
And you'd been going like loads that year, haven't
For,
you?
yeah, for a few years. Got into it
Yeah.
quite a few years ago.
But then we
Um,
we hit it off.
yeah, I just hit a wall with dating and I was like, I'd been on quite a few dates in a short amount of space. So it was just like constant and it was the same thing, like just going for a drink, then like, I'll call you later,
Mhm.
never hear from you again.
And then you read that dating book, didn't you?
End of that.
What was
Oh
that
yeah, I
called?
forgot about that. God, it's got a really depressing title, but it's actually a
Oh,
really good book. Good
it was like How to
recommendation for
Not
everyone
Die
listening.
Alone or something.
Yeah, by Yuri something. I think it's Yuri Logan or Logan Yuri or something.
Because there's a health one, it's called How Not to Die. And that's like
Oh,
a
and then you're just
vegan
like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
vegan doctor. So I
Just
thought it
one
might be the
word.
same person, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just one word extra alone,
Hmm.
but it's actually really good if anyone wants to, if anyone's dating and wants
Yeah.
to learn about it, because you read it and you realize like, oh, I'm not like the problem, or I'm not like, this, the problem I'm having is the problem everyone's having.
Yeah.
And you just think, oh, I'm not crazy. And then it just tells you how to like sort through stuff, and it's just
Hmm.
mint. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like on the first date, do something different.
Yeah. Like get out. One of the tips was like you go in on press play dates because they ask you a question and then you press play on something that you've said
Mm.
20 times before, and that's why you're having the same date all the time.
Mhm.
And then if you go somewhere different, it just helps you get out of
Yeah, I remember us talking about Bob
that.
Mortimer on the first date.
Yeah.
That's when I knew you were the one. A common love
I know.
interest in Bob
I think
Mortimer.
I think I might have just like thrown that out there just as like you kind of trying to throw things out, aren't you, to connect with
Yeah.
someone, and you're like, hmm. I was just like, fuck it, I'll just throw this out, and then you were like, yeah, absolutely love him.
Yeah, we were inside the little shack after being in the water,
Yeah,
and I remember you ordering like a cup of tea. I think you ordered a decaf tea and what they
a
call
Tunnocks,
a what?
a Tunnocks tea cake.
Yeah, the tea cake.
Yeah,
I was
not
like,
had one of them for a while.
yeah. I was like, this has got to change.
Yeah, I remember because the first two times I met you, I think I was a bit hungover,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like trying to be like, I don't actually drink that much. Like you've just caught me in a time period where like I've had a works do or
Mm.
something like that, and just two random drinking events, and I didn't want you to think that I was some sort of dysfunctional
Yeah, our
alcoholic.
second date, I don't think I knew the first time.
I
But the
told you the
second
second day.
time it was like very obvious. You were like, we went to mini golf.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
And you were like,
realize.
oh, so tired, and you're like getting hot sweats and stuff.
Oh yeah, it was.
And
Yeah, it was hot
then
in there.
we were going out for food, and I remember thinking like, oh, if this continues, if he's like a
Big
drunk,
drinker.
yeah,
Yeah,
not
he's a
gonna work. But
drunk.
then the third day, I think you were sobered up for that one.
Yeah, yeah.
So we
You
met
carried all
on
my
Hinge.
coats around the course.
We're a Hinge success story.
Yeah. Thanks, Hinge.
Thanks, Hinge. Sponsor us.
Yeah.
And what were your first impressions of me?
Um,
Specifically around like when did you start noticing the health stuff? And
oh, okay.
I know we were talking the other day, like when did we first start? Because you've had your own health struggles as well. Like when did that
Mm.
start to be spoken about? I think I
Well, I
remember
didn't.
like you opening up, but I don't remember me talking about it.
Yeah, like because it was a constant thing in the background when I was dating someone, I'd be like, I wanted rather like put this off, but I should tell them. So I kind of like, it's a massive relief when I told you, and you were just like, oh yeah, loads of people have that.
Yeah.
And but I felt like an alien basically for not for having like back pain at
Yeah.
26 or whatever,
Yeah.
27. Um,
And I was just giving you like, oh, go to this chiropractor and like do this
yeah,
stretch
yeah. And
and take these supplements.
I was like, man, yeah, I was loving the advice. But obviously my first impressions of you, you were like just very fun and easy to talk to and just a good sense of humor. That was like the main thing I was after. And you had all that. But the health stuff, yeah, I obviously asked what you did and I was like, oh, okay. I've never really met anyone that does that. I've heard about it. It was a Mitchell and Webb sketch that I knew
Oh
about
yeah. Oh
nutritionists
my
where they
God.
just tell people not to eat gluten.
You
And
should show me that one and the
that is an
homeopathy one as
essential part
well.
of it.
It's so funny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'll put it in the link or share it on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Don't be
Practitioners might
offended,
get yeah,
anyone who is
might
a
get offended.
nutritionist. But
It's
basically
just
it's saying the answer to everything is don't eat bread, like go
yeah.
gluten free
Mm,
and do a stool test.
yeah.
It's
The
pretty much true.
yeah.
That solves
It's
90% of people's issues.
yeah. So that was like my only impression of nutritionists really through that sketch. And I was like, oh, it's kind of a bit of a part of it. But then I noticed when I was in your flat, uh, you would open your cupboards to get something, and then I'd look past your shoulder, and it was like a pharmacy.
Yeah.
So many bottles of things with like, the pipette
Yeah.
squeeze of things, and then
My
so many,
herbs and my
yeah,
minerals.
so many supplements, so many capsules of stuff that had built up over the years. And I was just like, gosh, she's got like a pharmacy like in her own house.
And that wasn't even a lot, was it, for me?
No, you was
I
like,
actually
oh, I've
said
got rid of a lot.
this needs a restock.
But I knew at that point that it wasn't like normal, it's not like antibiotics or whatever. It's not mainstream medicine. I knew it was like supplements like magnesium
Mm.
and herbal supplements and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Um, yeah, I think another thing that took me back was like the milk situation because Viv
Tell
goes
them about my
to,
milk
I will, I'll
drama.
shedding light on this. Sure, people already know already, but you go to a farm that's about, what is it, 15-minute drive?
Mhm.
15-minute drive. It's a farm. It's a milk dairy sort of farm with cows and stuff. So like if you look around the back of the shop, you can literally see the cows they've got. They've got like 5 or 6 cows or something.
Shout out
And they
to
milk.
Maids in
Shout out to
Westhoughton,
milkmaids.
is it Costas?
West Horton, I think, yeah.
Overholton,
Um,
Little Holton, don't know.
yeah. So they make they milk the cows and it literally goes straight into the shop. And then she buys like 10 tubs of milk, 10 bottles of milk at a time, freezes them, and then obviously like gets them out as and when
Literally
she needs them.
orange when you lift them out the freezer.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously I've never met anyone that does that. Like people just go down Tesco, you know what I mean, and get it as and when.
But who now loves raw milk?
I do love it now.
You
When it,
you like loved it initially, and then you
no, no,
went
did
through a
I?
phase. No, you like hated it after a little bit,
Yeah, I remember
and
hating
you
it
were like, "Oh, there's
because
bits in it, and
yeah.
it's smells
It
smells
smells
like
like
a
a
farm."
farm.
And
Yeah.
now you're like drinking the majority of it with me.
Yeah. I initially because I used to be kind of pescatarian and I'd watched a lot of like vegan documentaries and stuff. So I knew that if it's, unpasteurized straight from the cow, it might have like, I don't know if they call it biological material or something. It's just like basically a bit of
Coal mine
pus.
stuff.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's probably nothing to be scared of. And when I first started drinking it, all I could think of was like pus is in it every time
Oh,
like, because there's
right.
little bits of cream in it.
Into detail.
No, people should know.
Those were the bits that you were like, no,
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just the cream that's
yeah, it
mixed in
is.
it.
It is.
It isn't it?
Yeah,
But I kept thinking of post. But
yeah.
now it's oh my God, like when you get the creamy bit, it's
That's the
so
best bit.
nice.
we'll fight
Yeah,
over that
like
now.
oh God. I
But
remember just getting
you
a
were
glass of
fine
it
with
once.
downing a pint of Ben and Jerry's. That was no issue.
It wouldn't be a full tub. I could do like half a tub.
Yeah, that was one of the first like things I noticed. You
Yeah, should we get into
have
that?
yeah,
Let's get
like how
let's
you
get
diet. People have asked like what's changed.
yeah, let's get into that.
Um, so you were veggie slash pescatarian. And I'm
Yeah.
like not bothered about that, but if I'm going to be cooking and if we're going to be eating together, I'm still going to make meat. And then, yeah, what made you, because you eat meat now, we've just polished off a tray of chicken wings for
Yeah.
lunch. So, yeah, what's been your mindset around that and how have you felt? And did I influence that or did you feel like you wanted to get away from it anyway?
Um, well, to be honest, when I first started, it was just convenience and taste because it tastes so nice. But then when I started having the conversation with you, is like I'm having this pain problem. Could it be linked to diet? And I'm eating all this fake corn stuff,
Mhm.
quite a lot of dairy. I was eating really badly anyway. But with that on top, it's like highly processed, like corn stuff. So that might be a bit of a problem. So I thought, yeah, I should probably move away from it. And I'm trying to heal and repair, so I probably need a bit more protein
Mhm.
to for the growth and repair.
But
But
you like struggled with digesting fatty meats at first, didn't you?
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
love
because
that's like my favorite part, like pork belly and pork chops and beef, and I'd cook it and you'd actually feel like sick or get
yeah,
stomach pains and stuff.
it wouldn't be painful, but you could literally feel it going through your
The
system
grease.
because yeah, and anyone that has done this, like not eating fat or not eating meat for like a year, I'm guessing like your bile isn't
Mm.
being used really. So when you eat it again, it just feels so heavy. Um,
But that's why
and a
people
bit
like
greasy.
quickly go back to veganism or like vegetarian because they're like, it feels heavy, I feel worse. I'm not,
Yeah.
I feel like really heavy and sludgy. So they're like, oh, it must be ideal to be vegetarian, but it's just because your gut's not working properly.
Mm, yeah.
But you have to like ease into it.
Yeah. And my diet before I met you, it was one of those ones where like say like your mum or your family, they'll think you're being healthy because they see you eat like a banana or an apple every day, but they're not taking into account like the bag of brownies that they don't see you eat
Yeah,
or because I have a sweet tooth. That's true, isn't it, Viv?
yeah.
Viv will back me up. Um, and I was struggling with emotional eating, and it took me a long time to kind of like realize that and just admit it and kind of I was eating that because I was sad, basically. Like that is the reason.
Yeah.
Like you're a bit stressed, you're a bit sad, you're looking for like a quick fix of dopamine or a quick
Mm,
hit of something to get you through the day. So you just end up wolfing a bag of brownies
mm,
or a whole pack of cookies or
mm.
whatever.
Yeah, I
And
remember
I
you
was
being
definitely,
so shocked when if we'd get like a cake or something and I'd just have one bite and then I'd be like, yeah, I'm fine. Or I'd
yeah,
keep sweet things in the cupboard and they'd be there for months and then they just go out of date because I don't even eat them.
yeah. Like I've never known that. Like in my household, like growing up and stuff, it was like sweets don't last very long in the house. Cake doesn't last very long. And like with you, if you your sugar parameters, your sugar receptors are
Mm,
very high because you
mm,
don't eat it.
mhm.
So if you have one sugar in a brew, you're like, God,
Horrible.
that's sweet.
Yeah.
But like to me, it's just normal
Yeah. Like my granddad
because you've kind of
he has
reset.
6 teaspoons of sugar in coffees. That is insane.
Yeah.
And now I think he's just completely stopped. And he's like, oh, I actually like this better. And he just got used to having that. And he's like, I can actually taste the coffee now. I'm like, yeah, obviously. You're just drinking like sugary milk before.
Yeah. And
So yeah, my milk
it's,
situation, Luke would laugh at me because our freezer's pretty small. and I want to stock up when we do the trip because I don't want to be driving there every week. So I'd get my mum to put milk in her freezer, and then there was a whole situation where she was changing her fridge and they were getting a smaller one, so they could no longer store my milk. So I had to buy a separate mini freezer for the garage.
It was like the umbilical cord being
Yeah,
cut, wasn't it?
yeah, mother's
The day
milk.
Viv finally became an independent adult.
But now I can buy 30 bottles at once.
You can if
We're
you want
probably
to,
just
yeah.
gonna go faster, like go through it faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my milk story.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
milk.
and I'd say you were like your diet wasn't good, but I did because it's important for me to be with someone who is health conscious. So I think if like you also didn't work out or you didn't do like meditation and things, I don't think I'd be as like drawn to you. But you were into like going for walks and wild swimming, and I think we were speaking about Wim Hof and breath work and meditation, and you said you used to go to yoga. So it's like, okay, the diet stuff can change
Yeah,
over
I want
time,
to
but at
just,
least he's kind of interested in
yeah,
health. I honestly think you just didn't know
yeah. Let
what
let
to
me
do.
just dive in on that because I think a lot of people listening might relate to this. When you're trying to heal, you kind of put diet, you know it's important and you know it probably needs to change, but you kind of put it off and you put it to the back of your mind and put it to the back of the priority
Mm,
because you kind of, it's probably because you're just addicted to the food you're eating. So it's the addiction saying like, oh, maybe you can do anything else to kind
yeah.
of heal. And that was me. It was literally like, I can stretch, I can go to
Mm.
chiropractors, I can do meditation, I can do cold swimming. But I was like, let me just keep that little
So did you know that
brow
the
back.
food, changing your food would have an impact? I don't
Yeah.
think people know like
Yeah.
the extent of it because when I had
No, no,
skin
yeah.
issues and digestive issues for like the first few years, I knew certain things would make me worse. Like eating a full pizza, I probably would feel sick after that, but just day-to-day meals, they weren't great, but they weren't terrible. But I thought because I was told by doctors, your food has no impact on these things. So I was just like, right, there's no point. I didn't even know there was any extra benefits of switching a diet. I didn't know that foods can be inflammatory or have certain nutrients that you need to do certain things in the body. So yeah, I thought with you, at least there's some, and I knew that you wanted to heal your back as well. It wasn't just like, oh, this is who I am. It was like I'm actively working on this at the
Mm.
moment.
Yeah, I think I knew, I didn't know at first that there was any link with the food and the back pain because if you say that to the average person or the man in the street, they're just going to be like, I don't think those two things are connected. And pe my sister would laugh when, so it was in 2021 or 22, I started going to this new chiropractor in the centre of Manchester. And he's a good guy, really, but his focus is a lot about food. So when you first join up, you kind of get this leaflet and you're just like, what? And it's just telling you to adopt an anti-inflammatory diet. And he'll say, okay, only sweet potato, wild rice,
Mm.
meat, eggs, no gluten, no dairy.
Were you also trying to do that vegetarian?
Uh, was I?
You must have been like
I
just
can't,
fish,
oh yeah, yeah, I
just
was
fish and
actually, yeah.
eggs.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Wow.
Just fish and eggs and wild rice and sweet potato. But
That
you
obviously is
feel,
going to put you off.
to be fair, I was pretty much like kind of loving it at first
Yeah.
because I was like, I feel a lot different. I can tell it's doing something. And I had gone from snacking on Cadbury's, what are they called? Those
Brunch
like
bars.
brunch bar things, yeah. Like having about three of them a day to like no carbs or low carb. And you get that thing for a few days where you
Yeah.
you just feel spaced out with no energy. But then it started to come back. But I only tried that diet for like 5 or 6 weeks or something.
Mm.
But I was kind of like opening up to the idea that it would help me, but I just needed to learn more and go a bit further down the journey with it.
Yeah. Did he like even explain? what it was doing, or was it just a bit too like prescriptive and general? If he would have sat down with you and like spoke through like how this food is anti-inflammatory, it's going to help to heal this and do this, like that's probably going to be way more
Yeah.
like manageable. You're more likely to stick with it, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want to speak too badly about him.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not gonna I'm not gonna name
he's
I'm
not
not
even a
gonna name him.
nutritionist, is he?
No, no, I'm not gonna name him, like, but he didn't sit me down and have that talk about food. He just kind of he did kind of dig himself up quite a bit. He was just sort of like I'd come in and he was quite a muscly guy, and I'd sit down and he'd be like, I practice what I preach, me. He'd say, you want 10-mile run? Let's go. I can do it now. You want to go? He'd say stuff like
You're there like crippled with back pain,
that. Yeah, and he's
signed
talking
off
about,
work.
yeah, he's like, he'd say that he has grass-fed raw butter in his coffee, like
Yeah,
swapped as
yeah, yeah.
milk. And then he'd say like, I eat completely clean. I only drink gin and tonic if I'm going to drink, and I might have the odd cookie like very now and again. But he didn't go into any detail about the mechanisms of inflammation, like what it is, like why it might be a problem for you. Yeah, he didn't go into any of that. But I don't,
Yeah, he's not a
I'm
he's
not
probably
trying to
not
cast
trained to
doubt
talk
on him.
about
Like
food. So
he's
it's
doing
good
the
that
best he
he's
can.
mentioning it, but
Yeah, he's mentioning it,
yeah.
and he was fairly professional apart from that. Um, yeah. So, but he was. It's like you've had it yourself. When you was trying to heal, how many practitioners did you go through? They're all kind of little stepping
Mm,
stones,
yeah.
and they're getting you to where you need to be. And I felt like that had to happen with him to kind of get me into the road that I'm in now. So yeah,
Yeah, it showed you the importance of like structural skeletal health and that food does play a role, but it just was it that wasn't the end of it.
yeah, it was more just saying like, don't just go to a chiropractor and think all you need to do is just turn up, do your stretches, and you can get fixed. It's literally go to the chiropractor, but also do other things in your lifestyle like diet,
Yeah. You need to be an active
exercise.
participant,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
like
like
fixed
take
eat.
control of it. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
people are asking as well, what pain condition do you have? Because I've mentioned it here and there, and if I shared your health coaching page on my Instagram, so you've done a few posts on there. It's going to be more active soon. But
yeah.
yeah, what is your actual? They're asking what is your actual diagnosis, or what is the actual problem, and how long have you had it for?
Um, so if you're going down like the mainstream doctor diagnosis, I had an MRI through the NHS that said no abnormalities. So there was just no diagnosis that anything's wrong with that MRI. And then I had a kind of diagnosis through that chiropractor that I mentioned. He just said you have a very, very slight scoliosis of the spine, which just means the spine's a bit out of shape
Mm.
to what it should be. Um,
But
so,
what are the symptoms, and what do you think's going on after all of this? So you've gone down the
oh,
chiropractor
okay.
route, and you've been to other chiropractors since, and it has made a big difference, hasn't it? That's been one of the things that
Yeah.
has helped. But yeah, what does it feel like? How long have you had it for?
So my pain, and it's probably similar to people with chronic pain conditions, it can change, which kind of leads you to the belief that like it can't be structural, it can't be like physical, or maybe it's not entirely physical.
Mm.
So the symptoms for me is pain in the lower back on long drives, so anything over 45 minutes, and the longer the drive goes on, the worse it used to be. When it was at its worst, I couldn't work at a computer for more than 10 minutes, and I used to call it trigger pain because as soon as I'd work, that's what it would trigger it. And I had all the ergonomic things. I had a standing desk. I had someone come in and they basically measure everything and see that you sat correctly and I had one of
You
those
actually have
guys.
someone come in and like custom
Yeah,
make it. You desk scan your chair.
it's not custom made. It's just they look at your setup and they just make sure everything's at the right height and stuff. And the guy came in and it was basically at the right height anyway.
Do you
So
remember the
there's
other day at your new job at the gym and we were out for a leave-in do for the manager and he's like,
mm,
Luke, why is the seat so low down every time you've been on it? It's like you're on the floor and it's like
yeah,
not even level with the screen, but you've not been that bothered, have you, this time around
no,
working
no,
because your pain's improved
no.
loads
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
last couple of years.
Yeah, now I can work at a computer. I can, sort of live a normal life in quotes.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not as bad as it was. But
What about
like
like upper back and neck?
so yeah, I would get the trigger pain and I think it's C4. So it's like where your neck meets your upper back, basically. That bone that kind of sticks out. It'd be in between that and the one above it. Um,
Like a
working at a desk
sharp
would
pain or
um
bruised feeling?
it'd be like a very dull ache
Yeah,
and it would just feel like it's getting tenser and tenser
yeah,
and tenser. And then if I touched it or like moved my head, it would feel like it was the most bruised. It'd feel like like yesterday it was hit with a baseball bat. That's what it would feel like. And if I touched it, it was like a bruise. So I'd press it and I could feel a lot of pain. So there was that. And then like any heavy lifting or like bending, there was exercises I couldn't do, or I still keep away from them for now. So like deadlifting, squats,
just any
doing
like weight on your
leg,
shoulders.
but even a weird one like leg extensions on a machine. Like that's not really anything to
Hmm.
do with your back, but I did those once and the next day I was in agony, so I never did them again.
Yeah,
I kind of want to get back into like pull-ups and stuff like that, but I'll I'll try and get pain-free and feeling good and then slowly introduce them and just do very lightweight, just try and do a couple and see how I am and just bring them in like that.
because it's hard when there's so much benefit to exercise and you know that improving blood flow and circulation and like even for mental health it's so beneficial, but then you can get a bit scared of stressing your body too much, can't you?
Yeah, that's why I advocate now for doing as much as you can of what you can. So even, I mean, I'm kind of okay now, but back in the day when it was bad, I would very much stay away from cycling, even though I love to do it. So I'd think, okay, cycling's out, I can swim. But even when it's bad, even swimming can be a bit of a problem because I'm lifting my neck up like
Hmm.
that. Um, so if it's ever bad, I just go in the pool and just kind of kick my legs with my head down like that. And as long as you're doing something, if you discover that you can work on your core with no pain, like do it
Yeah.
as much as you feel comfortable with, as long as you just gradually increase it and don't overexert yourself.
If you've been listening to this podcast for a while now, you've probably heard me talking about the importance of minerals. I know that you're trying to balance your hormones, detox your liver, heal your gut, but minerals are actually key for these things to happen. They really are the spark plugs of the body. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that unless you're working on mineral balancing, you're probably not going to see results when it comes to things like energy, skin, digestion, and period problems. So many of us are mineral deficient or imbalanced these days due to soil depletion, chronic stress, poor gut health, medication usage, and big mistakes that I see clients making is supplementing in the wrong way and following intense healing practices. Trying to DIY your health with self supplementation, restricted diets, and crazy detoxes can actually throw your mineral levels out of whack. It's important to know which specific minerals you have to determine the treatment that you need, and that's exactly why I created my mineral balancing course, I'm Balanced, so that you can get your hands on my favourite functional lab test, the Hair Tissue Mineral Analysis. Yes, this can be done from anywhere in the world. Here's what you get in this programme: one complimentary HDMA test, over 8 hours of video education, helping you to understand your unique lab results and exactly what you need to do to balance things naturally, plus the tools to support you and your family long term with a deeper understanding of minerals. All this is just £447, including the lab test. Then long term, you can just purchase additional tests for yourself and your loved ones, because this is a test that I recommend everyone does 1 to 2 times a year to make sure you're staying as balanced as possible. You could get started today with your hair sample and have answers within a few weeks once the results come back. Get instant access to the course material by clicking the link in the episode show notes. So when you were at your worst, like rock bottom health, I know you did a post
Mm,
as well on your Instagram,
mm.
but yeah, when do you feel like it was at its worst, and how did that affect your life, like in general, with mental health, work, and then just not being able to do your hobbies and things?
Um, I would say,
We were talking about it the other day, weren't we? Like,
yeah.
I think it was like January 2022.
Hmm.
Would it be then?
I think yeah, that was it. Like, and the December before
Yeah.
that as well, so December 21. Um, so it would affect my life as in I couldn't cycle to work, which I wanted to do. I couldn't work. Literally felt like I couldn't work. So I'd work for 15 minutes, go and do some stretches, stretch in the morning, and I would lie underneath my desk just like in pain.
Mm.
And my colleagues would be like, they got used to it because they
Mm.
just saw me down there so much. And even the director of the company would walk in the morning, hi Luke, you all right? And I'd just be on the floor, I'd be like, yeah. But I
Oh,
would pretend that I was okay with it, and I was like, just working through it.
yeah.
And I did keep that up for a long time. I was like, I'm gonna battle through it and just kind of grin and bear it. And I couldn't carry on working, so I had to change jobs. And then at my worst, I was not able to carry my own shopping, so I bought one of those shopping trolleys that grandma might use to transport the shopping. I didn't have a car at the time, so I was just bowling around with one
So
of those.
sad. That one is quite funny,
I
and
know it's
we laugh
hilarious.
about it a lot. And we were sad to. It
Did
was
I
a big
hide it
moment
from you?
letting go of that. I
Yeah,
think you sold it or give it away, didn't
I
you?
did. I sold it. Yeah.
But you were still not feeling great then, because that
Got a
was.
good price for it as well.
Oh, and you were
Made a
saying
sweet
before
profit.
that you'd signed up to this
Mm.
workout plan, like a stretch plan. Like you've
Yeah.
spent so much money over the years on all of these things. Um,
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
it
what are some of the
was.
other things that you've tried?
So it was a few different chiropractors, probably about four or five. I had about three physios, I think, two or three physios, and these were private ones, most of them. So I was paying for them. I had a couple that were like NHS recommended, but it was hard to get proper treatment through the NHS because when I moved house, I actually got referred to an NHS specialist, and all they did was radiotherapy. Sorry, not radiotherapy. That's for cancer. It was, when you have a baby and you get that's it,
Oh,
ultrasound,
ultrasound. Yeah.
ultrasound, yeah, and that did absolutely nothing for me. I don't know if anyone's had an experience where that's worked for them,
And then
but
didn't they just refer you to a yoga class?
yeah. So I was working full time, and they said you probably need to do some yoga. I'd already tried this, obviously, um, but they referred me to a yoga class that was on at like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, like online. And I was just like, well, I'm in work that time. Is there anything else? And they were just like, no. So I was like, yeah, I didn't have a great experience with the NHS. I don't want to offend them. Don't want to,
Oh,
they're
on
doing
this
a hard job.
podcast, that's all I do.
No, they're doing
I'm
it. They're doing a
joking.
hard job, and they're
Yeah,
not
it's good
they're not
for the
resourced.
scans
But
and the blood test and like ruling
yeah, it's good for a
any
lot.
big actual structural issues. Or if
Yeah,
you've got like a
if
slip
you need
disc
an
and stuff, you
operation.
need painkillers. Like you've used painkillers and things over the years too. Um, so on reflection, because you're in, how much do you think what progress do you feel like you've made? Where are you at now? Let's say like 10 is amazing health, no pain at all. 0 is like rock bottom that you're at.
I'd probably say like a 6 or a 7 because me being able to work full time, that just is a game changer. Like to be able to work, have a bit of purpose in your life, have some income coming in, compared to not being able to work at all, that is a massive thing. So I need to like remind myself to be grateful about that
Mm-hmm.
because obviously
Just
there
being
was a
able to
point.
sit at a desk. I remember when you were like off work and we were like doing exposure therapy, just like, okay, just do 5 minutes, set a timer, and then we'd like massage your back and everything afterwards.
Yeah,
You like
yeah,
slowly have to build up.
yeah. So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to touch as well on other things that I tried.
Oh yeah.
So I did when I quit work, I had a bit of savings left up. So I just thought, okay, I'll just try and heal and until I can figure out what else to do. So I had a little bit of money saved up. So I'd literally do the Wim Hof method breathing and loads of cold water swimming, loads of cold water therapy.
And what got you
Just,
into that? Like, how did you find that?
well, Wim Hof he was on a podcast that I heard. So I'd heard of him through that. And he'd been on telly like years ago. He was on Channel 5 or Channel 4 doing some mission that my dad was watching.
Oh.
And that was when I was like 15. I saw
Mm.
him on telly doing that. He was like running in the Arctic doing a marathon. So I'd been aware of him. So then I read his book and I think it helped me a little bit, but it wasn't what I needed, I don't think. And I also tried the Move You course. So that's like it's like a strength and flexibility thing, but it works on your whole body. So I'd bought the course for about 220 quid roughly. This was about 6 years ago. And I was working through the modules when I was living at my mum and dad's house, and I'd be in the conservatory in the back room with it on a little computer and my yoga mat out. And it's literally doing stuff like picking up socks with your feet, picking up pens with your feet and like moving them. And my mum
It's
and dad
desperate
would,
times.
yeah. But I think,
Yeah, it's good. Again, it's like
yeah,
teaching you
it's
the
if it
importance of
helps
not
some
just like
people,
focusing on your
yeah.
neck. It could
Yeah,
be
it's yeah,
something with how your foot position is.
it's focusing on the whole body. And my mum and dad would kind of look through the window and be like, what the hell's he doing in there? And sometimes it'd be a lot of hip opening stuff. So I'd be kind of gyrating on the floor like that. And they'd see that and feel uncomfortable.
But you're also loads better, even like sitting now. I know you've done like the odd stretch and stuff with your neck, but
Hmm.
when we first met, we couldn't really go to the cinema or anything, or even just watching TV with you. You'd just be like so uncomfortable in your seat, and you'd be stood up
Hmm.
doing your stretches. Like just
Yeah.
sitting down to relax was hard, and you'd just like,
Yeah, yeah. Just watching a film.
yeah, you'd just be
I,
lying on
I
the floor.
I went to the cinema once on my own, and I made sure that I booked the very back seat so that I could stand up, and I would just stand up in the
Mm.
cinema. Like, obviously, no one's behind me, and I would just watch a whole film, like, almost stood up the whole way. But
You're
I
like one
think
of the
that,
staff who's got the night vision
yeah,
goggles.
showing people to the seat.
Yeah.
I was like an
Bring the
usher.
snacks round
Yeah.
the break.
But I think what I'm realizing now is there's more to pain than meets the eye. It's not just physical. It's not just your diet. You have to work on the link between pain and the stress of pain and
Mm,
pain and just stress in general
yeah.
and trying to weaken the signals between your brain and wherever is apparently the problem because it's been shown a lot that people that have no physical problems, it's something in their brain that's the issue. It's the link between their back and their brain, which is the problem. They've just got pain signals that are there that are perhaps unnecessary.
But then either on the other way, on the other side as well, there's people walking around with no pain, and if you were to scan their back, they'd have like a partially split disc or something. What you would
Yeah, and like
think
huge
could, yeah, or like
scoliosis.
yeah, major postural issues and these subluxations that they fix in chiropractor. Like, why is it that one person has chronic pain and can't work, and someone else with the same issue is absolutely fine?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think, like looking back now, what do you think was the initial trigger and what's made the biggest difference for you?
I think there's been a lot of things. I think I probably had the subconscious thought that work equals pain because the first time I worked was on a market selling women's shoes when I was like 15, and I would have to unload all the boxes from a van that I couldn't stand up in. I would
Mm.
like be hunched over in this van moving all this heavy stuff, and that would hurt quite a bit sometimes.
Ah, you
Um,
never told me that one before. I
did
knew
I
about
not?
the market. I never
Yeah, so
spent time
I
working.
had that, and then I just had the like my relationship with money was probably bad. So, well, I mean, it was bad. So I'd be spending all this money on treatment and being like, oh God, I've got no money, stressing that, and that would just add to the stress, add to the career stress. Like, oh, I'm not going forward in my
Mm.
career, and my pain is like keeping me shackled because I can't work longer hours.
Mm.
Because I'm thinking I need to put in the hours to get promoted.
Yeah.
So you just start to think I can't do that, and it stresses you out even more, and the pain gets worse, and you're just in a vicious cycle.
And then what else has made a big difference food wise, supplements, lifestyle? Like, what are some of the things that you do that, because I know you tried a lot, even with what I suggested, and some things aren't really worth it or don't really make a big difference. And then other things you've stuck with and they're like a big part of your routines now.
Well, I started on magnesium and probiotics, and I think they did help to some extent. I should probably get back on the magnesium.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm taking turmeric, omega-3 and D3, and what else am I taking? Oh, I'm taking like rhodiola, but that's for energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, you've got quite the supplement stack going on now.
yeah, I've got a bit of a cupboard of my own going.
And when you first moved in, because obviously it's hard as a practitioner as well, I just really wanted to help you. And I was like looking at it like, what would I do with a client? But when it's your partner, it just gets weird with like being the coach and
Hmm.
being someone's girlfriend. So yeah, I had to like try and not just share everything with you and kind of let you learn things on your own and try certain things. But there's also been times where I just can't keep quiet about certain things that you're doing or not doing. So yeah, hence the food shifts, like your diet has changed massively as well, hasn't it? Not just
Yeah.
including meat. You're doing your radishes and your what else do you
Hmm.
do? Peas
Um,
at breakfast.
radishes, peas, just more veg. Um, the obvious stuff that you know is good for you. Just trying to not eat processed food as well. It's like all
You're
the
like
stuff that
pretty
you know
gluten
it deep
free.
down is that it's good for you.
Yeah.
But you know what we should touch on as well.
What?
So do you remember so I went back to work when I started feeling a bit better, and I went back to my old job,
Mm.
and I went back with a lot of anxiety that because I'm going back, the pain is going to start getting worse. So I had one day where it was actually kind of creeping up on me and it was affecting me. And Viv said something to me, and then I kind of snapped because when you're in pain, it obviously affects your mood. It gives you a bit of a temper, gives you a short fuse. And I snapped at you and said something like, I can't just magically think my way out of this, or
Yeah.
like I
What was
can't
it that I said?
magically.
Like kind
I
of
think you just said you need to focus on your stress and
yeah,
relax.
like
And
see
I
think how
just,
well you've been doing and like
yeah,
visualize your body healing
yeah,
itself and all of that, which yeah, is kind of true, but when
it
someone's
is true. So,
struggling, it's hard to hear, isn't it?
yeah, so but I look back on that now as like a bit of a light bulb moment of where even though you're in pain and you feel horrible, you kind of have to shift your mindset to, I am going to defeat it, and just believe in yourself that you can defeat it. And just by doing that, you instantly take away a lot of the stress because you know that it's going to get better. So that you're literally setting yourself up to actually overcome it.
Mm.
And it all starts from that because you can do all these things and diet and whatever. If you don't believe in yourself and believe that you can sort it, there's no point doing any of it because it all starts from there.
So when did you believe that like you were going to get rid of it? Was there like a moment, or is it has it always been that you kind of knew, but you just didn't know like what the next steps were?
I've had peaks and troughs with it, I would say. So I go through stages where if it's bad, I kind of in the past haven't believed that I can sort it. I can't, that I can't fix it. Um, I think just as time's gone on, I've just realized that it's in my control. And just through reading books and educating myself about it. And what gives me a lot of hope is that before I went back to work, I was actually, when was it? Yeah, a few months before I went back to work, I was actually doing really well and I had no pain. And I'm just trying to get back to that place now. And I'm kind of almost there, but just I have a little bit of work to do.
Because that was like a weird moment, wasn't it? Because we were like celebrating. I think it was like 3 days where you're like, oh my God, I'm healed. And we were
Hmm.
like shouting it from the rooftops. Like, yes, we've done it. And then it like slowly came back in. And I know
Mm.
that because I had the same thing with my skin and loads of other symptoms. I'd rather it have it's kind of good that it shows you that it's possible. And you've had that moment of like being pain free, so you know that it can happen again. But it's also a bit annoying, or very annoying, that it's then come back because you're like, what the
Oh
hell? What
yeah,
have I
yeah.
done? You just start to like beat yourself up, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Or like, yeah, maybe it's just something that's always going to be there. So I would have rather my skin not cleared at all than have that moment of clean and then just clear and then it just goes completely back to how it was.
No,
But that,
I'd rather
yeah,
have
that
the
moment for you was like, oh my God, it's possible after years of just being in constant pain.
yeah, I'd rather have the moment of being healed because then you know it's possible because then you like it's not going to be like this for the rest of my life because that's the thing that when you think that it's never going to change, you get into like learned helplessness and you just get so depressed because you think there's nothing you can do for yourself. Um, but yeah, I know it's hard, and if people have got families and responsibilities and stuff, it can be even harder. But you have to prioritize your health and do everything you can to get better. Like if someone had told me that when I was in the midst of like my pain, when I had no idea about any of the health world, I wouldn't have reacted good to it. Do you know what I mean? I would have been like, because when people would ever mention that it's like emotional, on one hand, I would kind of think, God, it's all my fault then. But on the other hand, I'd be like, oh, well, if it's emotional, I don't need to spend so much money on x-rays and treatment.
Hmm.
I can just fix it. I can find out how to fix it myself.
So what like breakdown wise in your because everyone's different. For some people it is more the structural aspect. Some people it's way more stress, but I think it's always it's like multifactorial with everyone. What breakdown for you do you think has been present? So like how much of it is diet, how much of it is structural, how much of it is stress, mindset?
I would say that a lot of it is stress and mindset because when you've worked on your stress and your mindset and you've really improved your relationship with money or whatever it is that's stressing you out, like your relationships, you find that your pain's going down. Um, and even just me like meditating on the sauna mat for like 30 minutes a day was like really helping. And that's obviously nothing really to do with structural of problems of the back. I'm not moving any discs or anything when I'm
Mm.
sat down on that. Um, so
That's the
yeah,
issue.
and
People
then I
just think
think,
it's just diet or it's just this or it's just
yeah,
that.
so I think it's probably 50% mindset and like stress management. And then you've got the other side where it's diet and then like lifestyle things, and physical functional things like exercise and stretching and stuff. So it's all like a big a big pie, and you have to pay some attention to all of it.
I'd agree, even not pain related conditions, even if it's something like acne or IBS, probably the same 50%
Yeah,
emotion, stress, and then the rest of it split between like environment and because I was even thinking like mold being a part of your situation too, or even just like gut health related and mineral deficiencies. So I think all of that is playing a role. So
yeah,
yeah, whatever condition it is, there's always a physical component, and then there's an energetic, emotional, spiritual side of it as well.
yeah. I think a light bulb moment for me as well was because when you start taking this stuff seriously, the thing that you're trying to fix, you don't always fix that right away, but you end up getting some secondary benefits. Like
Mm.
I had loads of spots on my
Mm.
chest and I tried to get rid of them for years. Like I just thought, oh, I'm just a guy that just has a spotty chest. Like, there's nothing I can really do about it. I'd tried like different cleansers and everything. And then when I started cleaning my diet up and eating like avocados and spinach and stuff rich in like vitamin A, the spots just went like completely.
Mm.
And I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
And it was literally just that didn't have to change soaps or anything like that. It
Even
was
like your energy
literally
and stuff as well.
literally what I was eating.
Like when we met, I know that you'd just come out, well, you were coming out of that like depressing state when you were at rock
Hmm.
bottom with your health and you're kind of on the up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Energy levels were really low. So you'd like have naps in the day, and I know you'd still love to have a nap. That's like your goal in life.
To be Spanish or
Yeah,
French or Italian and just
have
have
a
a
siesta.
siesta.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's another thing that I've found.
And sleep
Fo
as well. Like even
Focusing on
sleeping next to you, like you were so jolty and
twitchy.
yeah, like biting your teeth and just yeah, restless at
Hmm.
night.
Yeah,
That's
if we could have measured my sleep scores on a bit of professional kit and seen the difference, they would have been something massive. It
mm,
would have been a massive
mm,
difference. But I think energy has been my other focus because like you need energy to heal. Like you need energy to keep doing the good things and to keep learning about it. When you come home from work and you're tired, you need to like have the energy before or after work to do a load of research on pain or health or whatever, to like read the books or whatever you're trying to do. Um, so I've been focusing on my energy a lot. So that's why I've got into the supplements. It's rhodiola.
mhm.
Um, the blue light glasses,
Yeah.
junk light, keep
Sponsored by
keeping
Bon
away from
Charge.
that. Yeah,
Thank you to Bon Charge.
thanks, man, charge. Like getting natural light in your eyes in the morning. Um, what else? Oh yeah, the food.
Yeah.
Because I used to have my thoughts would be like absolutely swirling after work. When I was on the train home, I would just have the most like depressive, weird, dystopian thoughts that would make me feel anxious and horrible because of what I was eating. And I think the link between what you eat and your mental health, people talking about it a bit more, and it is absolutely a real thing,
Mm.
100%.
Mhm.
Like if I have a load of sugar in the morning or, at lunchtime, I'm absolutely crashing at 5 after I finish work at 6:30 or whatever.
You just need more to get you back
Yeah,
up again.
and your thoughts are just not good, and you've not got like you're not doing your best thinking basically.
Yeah.
I've definitely found that to be true.
Hmm. And your another thing you've noticed a difference with are Epsom salt baths, massage, even just helping that muscular tension
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah, that's a big
exercise.
one for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exercise in like whatever you can do and just getting out into nature as well, going for walks. Um,
Yeah, I
you
think
when you're doing your camping and stuff.
yeah, nature's always been a big part of it
Mm.
for me. That's the game I'm in. But yeah, the baths thing, it's quite sort of a bit of a feminine thing to do, but I get right in there. Like I get
You're
candles.
in there
I've
more than I am.
I've got my
Hey, have your candles and like,
lavender
please close the bathroom door. It's stinking out the house.
my lavender essential oils goes
Yep.
in there. The loads of Epsom salts go in there, and then I just
I had
soak
to
for ages.
accept the parcel the other day of 10 kilograms of Epsom salts.
Yeah.
The guy was like, "What the hell is this?" I think he thought it was like a kettlebell delivery or something.
No, it's
Like
just the massive Epsom
it's my
salts.
boyfriend's bath salts.
He's a bit of a hard nut, you
Yeah.
see. He's a bit of a guy's guy.
He is. Um, so is there anything else you want to say about the pain stuff? Maybe like a message of hope,
Oh,
inspiration, if anyone else is struggling with chronic pain, not necessarily back pain. Some people have migraines, they might have an injury that's just not healing, they might have a condition like fibromyalgia. Just from your personal but now professional experience, what would you want to tell them?
I would say number one, don't give up on yourself. Try and try your best to not feel guilty. It's not your fault that it's happening to you, but it is in your control. So I would say work with a health coach, do loads of research, do a lot of stress management, and just find what works for you. Keep a health diary so you can see what's working. Um, yeah,
And
that's
don't give
about it.
up.
Don't give
Love
up.
it.
Yeah.
Amazing. So a few of the questions that I got in the Q&A box. Oh, let's see if you know this. What's Luke's astrology chart?
I'm not that into astrology, as you know.
Do you know what your signs are?
I know I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah. Do you know what that means?
That was born in December.
So Luke's Capricorn sun and Aries moon. You're an Aries moon, babe.
Oh, well, thanks.
Do you remember
I
the
do.
group
I had always
Cardinal
liked.
Moon Babe?
Yeah, I remember that.
Me and my friends are in a group, and the name of it's Cardinal Moon Babe because we're all Aries moon, and Luke's an Aries moon as well. So it's same as me, and then Sagittarius ascendant if you're interested. And this maybe ties into another question: is there anything that you and Vivian disagree on health-wise?
There's a lot, isn't there, really? Can we
Um,
say this? Vaccines?
yeah,
Can we talk about vaccines?
yeah, but I don't want to get censored.
We're not going to get too much into it, but
So what are your
I'm on one
beliefs?
side
Yeah,
and Viv's on
so
the
you're
other
very
side.
pro.
Um, I'm very pro, but with the caveat that they should kind of they should, be under a lot of regulation and be careful about the amount of vaccines people are having and the ingredients and stuff. Like that should all be,
They could do better with like cleaning them up a bit.
yeah, I mean, I don't understand it probably on
Yeah.
the level you do, but I'm pro vaccines at the moment.
Okay. And yeah, mine's the opposite. Maybe not 100% like never ever no benefits at all. Like I haven't gone into it so much. And I was chatting to someone the other day, they've got a kid and they've even done like delayed vaccination. So they choose like which ones because now compared to even like a few decades ago, it's just going up and up and up in numbers. Like American kids now are getting like 50 different shots before they're 5 years old. But especially the recent ones, it's 100% no from me.
Okay. What else do we disagree on? I
I know, I don't
disagree
know what else.
on,
That's like the top one, and we have had
I think I'm a bit more like vegan friendly because I think,
yeah, you're way more environmentalist
yeah,
to me than me.
yeah, yeah.
So, like, we've just been to a replenishment shop now in our hometown, and I'm like, Luke, just buy the bag of oats from the supermarket because by the time we've driven to this place and like been parked up and had to go the long way back home, we've just spent an extra like 20
10
minutes in the
minutes in the
car.
car. Yeah.
So I'm way more convenience, and you went through a stage of like very like taking your Tupperware to the butchers and not letting them wrap it in plastic and stuff. I do
Hmm.
that more for like the plastic chemicals. So I don't like plastic, but yours is for the environment reasons. Mine's for that, but mainly health.
Yeah, mainly for like the effects on us, like
Yeah.
microplastics and stuff.
And I believe that cow emissions, like the methane from cows, isn't the reason for global warming. So people going vegan, it's not making a huge difference. And there's so many other things that we should be worried about with the environment. And actually, cows, when they're properly pastured and raised right, that can actually be supportive to the environment. So I don't agree with factory farming and like industrial raised cattle, but yeah, because you've been veggie and was like in that world for a few years, I think that's more important to you.
Yeah.
And what else? Is there anything else?
Um,
You're just more
oh, I like cold as well, and you're not that into cold
yeah,
therapy.
like cold plunging.
Yeah.
I like saunas and heat.
Yeah.
I think that's just
Well, I like saunas and heat as well.
men do better with that.
Hmm.
I've done it. I did it for a while when we did the cold swims and stuff, but there's a certain time of year where it's just not going to happen. I'll go in the sea at summer in Cornwall,
That
happily.
is not happening.
But I think they're the top ones. So if anyone has the same conflicts with partners on those subjects, just know that you're not alone.
Yeah, I think you just have to shelve them. You have to kind of put them to one side.
And we've also said like if we have kids, like what
We
have
can
we
let them have, we've said,
What's
what do
happening with
we?
that?
We've said it can have one
No,
vaccine.
no, no, we didn't.
Why don't we do an experiment? One kid, no
Yeah,
vaccines, one, all of them at
yeah,
once.
it's full of needles. Mine
Yeah.
will have acupuncture needles in it.
Mm. Like Hellraiser.
Yeah. But yeah, that is a
That is a
something we
joke,
will
everyone.
figure out. We'll figure it out.
No,
Is
yeah, I don't mind.
is Vivian really as healthy as she makes out to be?
Yeah, Viv has extremely good control over her like urges to eat chocolate or sugar or whatever. Like
I
I've
don't
never
get
ever
urges
seen.
to do that.
I know, but
But
I've never.
no, sometimes I might. Like if we go out, you'll see me eat. Like I don't eat super clean all the time, do I?
No, no. Like you have treats and stuff as long as it's a good treat.
Yeah,
Like
and like
something
gluten
like
free,
when
and
we
I'll.
went to York, we had those coconut cake
Oh yeah,
things. They were like pretty clean, weren't they?
yeah.
Only 10, was it 10%
Mm,
sugar?
it was so
Like so we
good.
have stuff like that, but if we're like, I don't know, if we're in someone's house or something and they've got those and they offer you chocolate, you have no problem whatsoever saying no. Like you just, it doesn't seem like a battle to you at all. But for me, it'd be like, oh my God, I really want the chocolate. I mean, how can I say no? Can I say no? And, and then I just go, no,
Yeah, and then you'll eat the whole thing. Yeah.
no,
Anything
I'm
else?
I'm
Any other
getting better with it.
comments? What do you think's like weird about what I do, other than the milk situation?
What's weird? It doesn't seem weird to me now because I,
Yeah,
I understand a lot more of it now after doing my
I
own
know.
course
And
and
you said when you because Luke's just finished his health coaching course, and because it's not just me saying things anymore, and he's seeing work because we studied at the same college, the College of Naturopathic Medicine. He's doing the shorter course than I did, but it's not just coming from me anymore. And he's like, "Oh, I can see why you do this now," or you'll say, "Oh, have you heard that this thing's good for
hmm
this?" Like, yeah, I
yeah.
told you 3 years ago. You
Yeah.
didn't listen. It's like my brother, Joe will listen to Joe Rogan, and if Joe Rogan says it, then it's God's truth.
Yeah, it's scripture.
Yeah,
But if Viv says it, then it's kind of like, maybe we'll see
yeah.
about
Or if like something's on this morning and my mum watches it, that's her Bible.
that. Yeah, that's her sold.
Yeah.
Let's not go into the issues with this morning.
Mm. So yeah, what got you into coaching? Oh yeah, so like how have you found getting into coaching, and what is the plan? And someone asked, is the plan to collaborate in the future?
Um, we don't really know, do we? Maybe. I don't know.
Mm.
We'll see how it goes, but my plan is to just focus on people with chronic pain issues, and just coach them through helping them and guiding them through what they need to do, and just getting my Instagram posts going, and hopefully post things that are useful and that help people. Um, will we collaborate in the future? I don't know, because yours is a different market to mine. Yours
Mm.
is fertility, women's health, women's hormones. Mine's a bit separate to that, in it,
Mhm.
but I don't know. If you want to
Ooh.
employ me,
I'll retire, you take over. I'll be a housewife. You can be the star of the show. Lukey
yeah,
Natural Health.
I don't know any much about fertility though. Sorry.
No, you'll find that
Just give me
like
all
you
your
might have a
files.
client who you support through pain and it's just like, oh, I want to get pregnant. And then it'll
Pass it to
already
you.
be improved anyway because the body heals as a whole. So even if you've been even you've been
What are we laughing at?
even
Can
if
you
you've
remind me?
been supporting her with her back pain, you've reduced inflammation, reduced the stress, that will automatically mean that her fertility is better.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
holistic support. What are your favorite qualities about each other?
Oh. I'm going first, yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
See how kind you are to me.
yeah, I'd say your energy.
Is that it?
You're pretty game to do stuff. You
Yeah, I
know,
feel like you, I
like
like
when we went on holiday and you did all the activities
that.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty energetic, and your sense of humor, and you're kind. What more could you ask for?
XBB. I would say, yeah, I like that you, because you're more extroverted than I am, or you like doing more things than I do. I'd happily just be at home all the time with Norman and you.
Hmm.
So you push me outside of my comfort zone in that way, and then I'll moan about it. I'll moan that I'll have to go out and do something, and then I'll end up loving it at all these museums you take me to, or tennis classes and things that I
Hmm.
went to twice, once.
Yeah, but you loved
Um,
it.
yeah, I'd say Luke is very funny, very kind, and um, yeah, we just have the same personality and sense of humor and
Values.
values. Yeah.
Sounded like very Brent then. David Brent.
Yeah, we're just a bit like brings out my
Fashion.
childish side. Yesterday we did Disney karaoke on the TV.
Oh
It's
yeah,
our
yeah.
favorite thing.
Yeah, I feel like
If you want a
we
way to
needed it.
manage stress, get on YouTube and belt out Hercules at the top of
Yeah.
your lungs.
This is another thing that like, because even when I was not in the health world and I thought about health and well-being, you would think it's really boring because you automatically think, oh, I'm not going to get any pleasure from food. But it's literally trying to heal you, give you better energy so that you can do the things in life that you want to do that are fun.
Hmm.
And it's obviously about keeping you healthy so you can carry on doing these things. And you get more pleasure from food because you're not having the sweet things every single day, so that when you do have it, it's like a massive treat for you.
Very true. And
And
my
organic
diet,
stuff's gorgeous anyway.
would you say that day to day my diet is pretty good?
Yeah,
I feel like a
every
lot of people think, oh, it's just like that for Instagram, or
no,
you
it's
tell your
not.
clients one thing and behind closed doors, you're binging on chocolate.
She I'd say you never eat anything that's not sort of health conscious in some way, or it's always in line with what you believe. Because if you have a treat, it's like an organic, gluten-free, low sugar treat. that's been made by some random company. It's not Cadbury's, it's not Nestle. It's some like organic Olivia small shop or whatever. Um, and what you do eat is like you'll have a superfood smoothie for breakfast, probably halloumi and bacon on gluten-free toast with tomatoes and peppers for lunch. And then for tea, you'll have like some chicken thighs with sweet potato and cabbage. Like that's a typical day.
That is very true.
And then you'll snack on nuts and
My little snack bars,
those pulsing bars. Yeah.
milk.
Milk. That's about it. Yeah,
Mm.
that's it.
Um, what was I gonna say?
How
Hmm.
do we want to promote my Instagram?
Yeah, I have a few finishing questions, and then yeah, I'll tell people where they can find you. So, is there a book recommendation that you want to share with people? It can be something about pain or something about like stress or a fiction book, just a book recommendation.
Oh, can I give two?
Yeah.
I would say Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, because that'll give you some perspective and it'll just make you so grateful for the life that you've got. And then I'd say that Alexander Technique book.
Mm.
Um,
And that's something you're gonna try out and share about, isn't it? That's
yeah,
like a new technique that you've learned about.
yeah.
What's the premise of that?
So the premise is that there's nothing wrong with your like structure of your back. It's basically saying if you compare it to a car, so there's nothing wrong with the car, it's just the way you're driving it. So if you kind of learn to undo your bad habits and stop trying to hold yourself in a specific position all the time, then that'll greatly help your pain. And there's a lot of books out there that you can you can research about. You just Google the Alexander Technique book, and yeah, literally just choose one of them.
Great. Why is there more than one?
Yeah, there's a few.
All right. Second question is, what's your favorite product? So it's something that you couldn't live without. It could be a supplement, a gadget. Um,
I'd say my favorite one's the sauna mat because you can just
really?
get on it, put it on a low, like a medium temperature.
It's an infrared sauna mat,
Infrared Get Fit Global Sauna Mat.
and you often fall asleep on it as well, I
No, I
believe.
don't. I don't. That's a lie.
I
I
don't
do
know, where you
some
go for a little nap.
meditation on it.
Meditation.
Yeah, it's not a nap, it's meditation.
A deep, restful state. So that is,
Rapid
I
rapid
have the
eye
brand,
meditation.
hmm?
I said rapid eye meditation.
Yeah, REM sleep.
Yeah.
It's the Get Fit brand. I have the
Yeah.
Soma app. It's a bit pricey, but that literally saved my life when I was detoxing, and it's for the amount that we've used it, it's worth the money. But there
How
are
many
other
years you had
brands
it?
since I moved into my flat,
Like,
2020, 2020, four
oh,
years,
okay.
5 years.
4 years. Right.
And there are other companies like Bon Charge, they do infrared saunas as well. All my discount codes and everything are in the show notes. What's something that you're into lately? Could be health related, something that you've learned.
Definitely the baths. I think like to do
It's
the
a bit to
bath
know.
with the Epsom salt and the meditation on as well.
Yeah,
You're killing two birds with one stone, and it just helps you sleep and relax, and yeah, it's just so good.
perfect time of
And
year.
the Alexander technique as well. Those two things.
Cool. And yeah, last question. Where can people follow along? And when you're ready to start seeing clients, if anyone wants to, if anyone wants to work with you or send you a message, are you happy for people to like send you a DM if they want to chat?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So it's Luke underscore health coaching, and it's focusing on back pain, inflammation, and how to overcome it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lukey, for
Thanks for
coming on the
having me.
show. Maybe you'll be back for another part two with people like this.
Yeah, that'd be
Let us
good.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, right, I'll come and give you a hug now.
Bye.
Bye. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would love for you to leave me a rating and review on your podcast app, as this helps to support the show and it allows it to reach more people with this valuable information. Come and say hi over on Instagram. I'm at Viva Natural Health. And if you haven't already, check out my website, vivanaturalhealth.co.uk, for tons more free resources and to discover how I could support you further. I currently offer one-on-one consultation packages if you want my top level support, then more affordable group programs and self-paced online courses. So there really is something for everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next week for another episode.